Good afternoon and thank you for joining us for KREM News First at 4. I'm Mark Hanrahan. Whitney is off today. We are starting tonight with a developing story out of the East Central neighborhood. Tonight, Spokane police are moving into the old East Central Library where the city's newest precinct is, but neighbors, at least some of them, are not happy about it. Yesterday, more than a dozen protesters were outside the new police precinct in that neighborhood. They say they were not included in the discussion about putting the police hub there. Councilmember Betsy Wilkerson, who represents that area, says the mayor promised neighbors an open discussion about what would replace the library. The council member says neighbors deserve accountability.
They were protesting the lack of transparency, just like we all are. Like, why did we find out about this at the last minute? Nobody told us. Where was the information and the engagement? I mean, really, just for a moving truck to show up in front of a building, it's like, well, what's going on? And I think any neighborhood would ask, what's going on here?
Officers previously worked out of a donated space at St. Anne's Church on the Lower South Hill. They'll now work out of this new police precinct. The city says the MLK Center, East Central Neighborhood Council, East Sprague Business Association, and neighbors all expressed support for the location. Coming up new tonight at 5 o'clock, the mayor tells us she was part of several discussions with the community about the precinct, and there was always wide support for it. Well, good news for the thousands of drivers who use the Thor Frey corridor on a daily basis. The city announced today the project is on schedule. Contractors working on the project have brought in a new piece of equipment that's helped keep construction on time. They've brought in what is called a slip form paver that can lay down a higher volume of concrete in less time. Now the center lanes on Thor Frey are being poured, and then the outside lanes will follow. When the work is all said and done, the concrete should be less susceptible to developing ruts and potholes. The $8 million project is due to finish in November, on budget. Meanwhile, if you are planning on hitting the roads this holiday weekend to celebrate, AAA released the best and worst times to travel. Ideally, you'd want to leave yesterday before 7 a.m. and after 8 p.m. Today, it was best if you left before 10 a.m. or after 9 p.m. tonight. And finally, on Saturday, before noon and after 7 p.m. All right, taking a look at our weather now, because with the 4th of July on Monday, a lot of folks are heading outdoors for the weekend. Let's check in now with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo. He's in the Outdoor Weather Center. He's got the jacket off, the sleeves rolled up. It's beautiful today, Jeremy.
Don't forget the tie off as well, Mark. I went full casual Friday on us here.
I'm jealous, my friend.
And sneak peek at the 7-day. We've got some storms working their way toward us as we head through the next couple of days. But keep in mind, that's just a little bit of a sign of things to come. What we've got going on as we head through the next couple of days, though, let's back this up here just a second. A chance of rain. And we've been talking about this in the past few days, but when it comes to that chance of storms, Sunday is starting to look like those storms are going to arrive a little bit earlier in the day. I think by Sunday afternoon, we wind up with a break in the action, and that's when temperatures should climb. Monday, it's widespread showers once again for the first half of the day. And yes, that is actually going to pose the threat of flooding across parts of the inland Northwest. We'll walk you through what that means coming up in the full forecast. But for now, a couple of stray showers off to the north and putting it in motion. You can see as we move through the rest of the day, not much. As we move through most of tomorrow, not much. But as we get into early Sunday morning, it's those scattered showers across much of the inland Northwest. Some of those will pack the punch of some lightning, thunder, and heavy rain. That's the reason we have that flood concern for much of northern Washington. We'll be talking that coming up in your full forecast.
We'll talk to you then, Jeremy. Thank you very much. After 31 white nationalists were arrested in Coeur d'Alene several weeks ago, a community effort is now underway to take a stand against hate. The Kootenai County Task Force for Human Relations has been combating hate groups in North Idaho for 40 years now, and now they have renewed their commitment to making sure bigotry and prejudice have no place in Idaho. KREM 2's Nathan Hyun is live there tonight, where they're planning on handing out T-shirts. Nathan?
Well, Mark, the Kootenai County Task Force of Human Relations is trying to make it clear that hate isn't welcome here in North Idaho. Now they're planning on handing out T-shirts that try to make this message clear. And I had the chance today to go to one of these distribution sites where they're handing out these free T-shirts.
And this is Idaho. And hate doesn't belong here. It doesn't belong in the United States. There's enough hate in the world. We don't need it here.
11th arrest of the Patriot Front. So the shirts which say North Idaho Rejects Hate is a campaign that the Kootenai County Task Force brainstormed soon after the June 11th arrest of the Patriot Front white supremacy group. The task force came up with this campaign to spread the idea throughout the community. Now the goal is to have as many citizens as possible wear the shirts to the city's 4th of July parade and other community events. So now these are the shirts that are being handed out to community members. And if you guys still want to come get one, you can still come here to the Coeur d'Alene Public Library. They'll be here at 5 to hand out these shirts. But if you can't come here, you can also come here throughout the weekend and the Runge Furniture parking lot. Live in Coeur d'Alene, Nathan Hyun, KREM 2 News.
All right, Nathan, thank you very much. Well, today several changes are coming into Washington state. New gun safety laws are now in effect. This includes restrictions on high-capacity magazines and so-called ghost guns. There are also changes coming to the state for the sale of catalytic converters. Businesses that buy catalytic converters will need to show proof of transaction and have a traceable money source like a check and not cash. And Washington license plate fees are up. When you get a new plate, expect to pay $50 instead of $10. Also starting today, Washingtonians will start seeing missing person alerts specifically about Indigenous people. It's called the Missing Indigenous Person Alert, or MIPA. In Washington state, Indigenous women make up less than 2% of the population. However, they are 4 times more likely to go missing than white women and face murder rates more than 10 times the national average.
We just want to be heard. We want to know that our lives matter, and we want to be found. And that's what this alert system does at the end of the day.
Representative Deborah Lekanoff is the only Indigenous woman in Washington's House of Representatives. She says the alert will streamline tribal and local police jurisdiction issues, which have historically slowed down missing persons investigations. So here's how the alert works. When a person is reporting missing to tribal or local police, the investigators on the case now have the option to ask Washington State Patrol to issue an alert. Then troopers will decide whether it warrants that alert.
Is it an imminent danger situation, and would activation of that alert assist in the recovery? As law enforcement, we kind of have to make that decision. Sometimes it's a tough decision.
Once activated, you could see the alerts on highway signs, social media, and on WSP's Twitter page as well. If you'd like to sign up to get the messages, just text us the word alert to 509-448-2000 and we'll send a link directly to your phone. Also in your Northwest news today, the search continues for 3 boaters missing on the Pend Oreille River. 1 person was killed, 3 others still missing after a high-performance boat flipped on Tuesday night. It happened near the town of Priest River. KREM 2's Janelle Finch was at the river yesterday and talked with several witnesses.
I'm down here on the Pend Oreille River where a boat crash from earlier this week resulted in 1 person dead and 3 people missing. I've been watching Bonner County Sheriff officials search this river all day today. Earlier today, they were concentrating their area of search to 1 spot on the other side of the river. There are still some sheriff boats over that way, but the search has expanded to more of the river. And that is what people have been saying since that boat crash happened Tuesday evening. Officials have been up and down this river. There is still no update on those missing individuals. So in the meantime, I'm down here talking to neighbors about the moments they say they saw that boat go airborne and come straight down. Bonner County Sheriff officials tell me they have spent hours each day searching this river since that boat crashed Tuesday evening. Neighbors say the search spread across more of the river following the initial crash. Now they say there are less boats and the search is more concentrated. One neighbor says they have never seen something like this happen on the river. He says he was outside grilling when he heard the boat crash. He says in the time it took him to look up, he saw the boat go airborne.
I looked up, basically straight up in the air, flipped over on its cockpit side with the bottom of the boat facing forward. And as I was doing that, it was just incredible. A big wall of water, hard to even see the boat. But when it was all said and done, it was laying in the water.
Another neighbor who saw the boat crash says the boat came straight down with the bottom up and described it like a pancake hitting the water. Another neighbor told me she saw the boat before it crashed and immediately noticed its speed. She says the wind created choppy water conditions and the boat was going too fast. We still have not received the names of the individuals on that boat. According to the Bonner County Undersheriff, we may not see those names until next Tuesday at the earliest, as this is still an active investigation. However, we will continue to follow the story as it develops and provide you with any updates we can. In Bonner County, Janelle Finch, KREM 2 News.
All right, coming up after the break, after being arrested 4 months ago for killing a man in a drive-by shooting, the suspect appeared in court for the first time. Plus, a woman now in jail after being charged with killing her boyfriend. We share what neighbors said about the arrest coming up next.